we're gonna go outside today and put up some reflective tape around the chicken run. And while I'm doing that, I thought that I might talk about how we keep predators away from our flock. And it's cold outside, and I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to cold weather. I think I'm gonna be bundled up for a little while, and I'll probably, as I get moving, I don't think I'll need this jacket. Maya, come on. She's after that corn. We just got some corn the other day for the turkeys, and it's got peanuts in it, and also it's covered in peanut butter. It actually smells really good. I think it might taste good. I've thought about trying some myself. So we live out in North Georgia, and we've lived here for about 6 years now. And we've had chickens for about 6 years. We have never dealt with as many predators as we have living here. We live in an old growth forest, and there are lots of birds of prey in this forest. They're everywhere. Not to mention other critters like foxes and raccoons. We've even got bobcat, coyote, and I've heard recently that apparently there's somehow a mountain lion around here. Not too excited about that one. I don't know how it got out here. We generally don't live in this area, but I'm gonna set y'all over here. All right, that way y'all can sit on that bucket there and I can talk to you. So, this is a bit of a mess of a wire, y'all. I got this and my daughter needed it. And she didn't realize it needed to stay in the package. Keeps it nice and tidy, and also has that little cutter on it, and opened it up, so it's a bit of a mess. But several years ago, we had a major problem with raptors. We had a massive hawk that would come in here. We lost many chickens, several different type of kestrels. We had netting above for quite a while that goes all the way around the run. If you see, the chicken house is right there. And then on the other side, there's another opening, and the chickens can go out on that side of the run as well. But we used to have netting on the top here to keep the raptors out. The problem with the netting is it was a mess, for one, because you had all these leaves coming down, branches getting tangled up, and you also have to make sure that your netting is nice and tight everywhere, because if you have any section of netting that falls down, you'll have raptors that can get in because they have incredible eyesight. We had one section of corner. We have netting right here only in this section because we were having issues with the chickens coming out in the morning, getting a little bit too crazy, and we had some flying out on accident. So we still have a section of netting right here. But when we had netting all throughout the run, one little corner over here fell down, and I didn't notice it. And I think it was a hawk, I can't remember, it's been a while. Saw that little hole and dive bombed through that, killed a hen, and then my dogs came outside and it couldn't figure out how to get out. So I ended up having to remove the netting, pull it back, and let it fly away, but it did kill a chicken. So we ended up getting rid of the netting because it was just a mess. And of course, in some sections it would fall down. And I got a comment when we were having this issue. I was making videos. I got a comment from a woman, her name is Diane, and telling me about how her friends or family would use old DVDs to hang up around the run. And apparently some birds don't like that reflectiveness. Now, I'm not exactly 100% sure why. I've heard that it bothers their eyes. I've also heard that they don't like seeing their own reflection. I'm not sure about that one. But this reflective tape makes noises in the wind. I think that's another thing that they don't like. But after that comment, I went ahead and ordered a big roll of this reflective tape. It's pretty darn cheap. I get it off of Amazon. And I put it up all around the run. And I think I get a little bit overboard. I probably put way too much up. But as you see, I still have some up here, but a lot of them have fallen down. And now that we're getting to the point where the weather's cold, this is the time of year when we start having issues with raptors, especially come February. Right now it's the very end of November. So I want to make sure I get this up before we start having any issues, because since I started putting this up a few years ago, I haven't had any issues with those birds of prey attacking our chickens. Which is great, because this is a very simple, easy, cheap solution to keep the birds safe. Basically, I just take a nice little section and cut it off. Hey, Trigo. What are you doing? With this wire here, it's pretty easy to just stick it right on through. And then for there, I hang it up on our wires here. Now, the reason we have wires up, if you see along our run, is we were having issues with our chickens getting out. And this kind of deters them from flying out. And they prefer to stay in the run. They don't purposely try to get out. But if something spooks them, this kind of keeps them from wanting to go out the wrong direction. Because as long as they stay in the run, they're safe. Now, we did put chicken wire up around these whole areas, because these boards right here in the corners, foxes can jump up here. In fact, foxes jump just as high as cats, and they can even climb trees, believe it or not. I've seen it with my own eyes. We were having a major problem with a fox coming and killing our chickens. We ended up losing 7 out of 10 of our bourbon red heritage breed turkeys to this fox, along with countless chickens and a rooster. The odd thing about this particular fox is that it would hunt in the morning when it was light out. And one day it had enough time to dig a hole right over here. He dug a hole, came into the run, and started attacking our chickens. Now, at this point, I heard the commotion. I looked out the window and I see this fox chasing my chickens back and forth. It was a little bit like cat and mouse, kind of wild, in the run. So I come running down. And at this point, we were trying to catch the fox. We had a live trap out, but it just was not working. I've heard it's hard to catch a fox in a live trap, but I came running out here, y'all, as fast as I could, flew in here. And I'm not quite sure what I was thinking at the time, though, what I was gonna do exactly. So I chased this fox back and forth throughout this run, y'all, and I'm barefoot, and I'm telling you what, it was slippery because it had just rained. I don't know why it didn't just go ahead and run back and get out through the hole that it came in through. But it came running in this direction, jumped right here. And this is where I grabbed it. I grabbed its tail. I know this sounds crazy, I know. And at this moment, I thought, oh my goodness, I got a fox in my hands. And I was a little bit scared because I didn't want to get bit, you know. But I somehow was able to maneuver. I luckily had an empty food bucket over here. I was able to maneuver it into the food bucket. From there, I hollered to Lily, my daughter. She was able to get a big dog kennel. And we put it right up here with the door open. And I was able to get the fox in the dog kennel. And we were able to relocate it. Once a fox gets to your chickens, they will not stop until they massacre your whole flock. So I was very relieved to remove that fox from our property. After that whole wild situation with the fox, I went ahead and put up this chicken wire here along the edges, so we're not having any foxes jumping in. And also, Nathan went around all the edges here along the outside of the chicken run and poured bags of cement and then spritzed it down with water. So now we have this thick cement barrier here. And we have not had any issues since with any foxes or anything trying to dig in. It's just too hard now with that concrete. So between the chicken wire and the concrete, that has fixed our fox issue. Alright, if you see, I went ahead and did this whole section here. And when the wind blows, you can really hear them flapping in the wind here. I don't know if you see my cat, Trio. He's so funny when he goes up there. He's kind of like king of the castle here. If you live anywhere where you have trees around, where your flock is, like we do, you're probably gonna have raptor issues, or already do have raptor issues. It's just too easy for them to perch on these trees and dive bomb down and get a chicken. We have our turkeys over there. I'm gonna be putting it up on the turkey run too. But we haven't had any issues with predators going after our large turkeys. They're just too big. The only one that I would have to worry about, or I've heard that I need to worry about, is the bald eagle. I've never seen any here on our property. I've seen some close by. I've heard of other people in other areas having major issues with the bald eagle. And I know they are big enough to take out a turkey. But I also put reflective tape around their run as well. I've got another turkey out. I don't know what's going on with them in the morning. When they get out in the morning, I need to watch. It must be a bit of a crazy commotion, because every once in a while a turkey will get out. I really like how these turkeys are allowing some trees to grow in here, which is great for cover. You see here? Chickens won't do that. They scratch at everything. Another way we keep predators out of our coops, I'll show you on the chicken too. We've never once had any predators get into our turkey coop or our chicken coop. If you see here, these nails, it looks vicious, I know, but we've never had any of our turkeys or chickens get harmed by those nails. What it does is it deters any other animal, any other predator, from wanting to jump up and get into the run because of all those nails on the outside there. We did this in Missouri as well, and we never had any issues. Also with this, how Nathan designed this turkey house on stilts, so it's up high. It's a mess under here, but you see we've got the chicken, we've got the wire under here. Now, as long as you keep them up at night, they've got lots of roosting areas, and keep them up high, because I have heard of people having issues with this method. Predators such as foxes literally eating the legs off of their birds. I know, pretty awful, but that can happen with this design. But as long as there's somewhere for them to go up and to roost, they're good, they're fine. We've never had any issues with that happening. You see, it's kind of cool in here though. This thing goes all the way up. There's roosting bars all the way up there. In fact, Tom, the big boy, Tom Selleck, at night, he gets all the way up there. It's pretty wild. So, turkeys are pretty wild though. Look, see, she's coming back in. I'll tell you something about heritage breeds turkeys. They're kind of a pain in the bum. So they're not like your broad-breasted white turkey. They're smaller, so they can fly, y'all. Even with me clipping their wings, how much these turkeys can fly. If you think about how in the wild, that's what they do at night, is they perch way up in the trees to protect themselves. There she goes. So, the turkeys have been a bit of a challenge because of that. They're light enough, like the ones in the wild, and they can fly quite a bit. Turigo, are you gonna stay in here? Of course, they prefer to stay in the run. They're safe in the run. But every once in a while, they fly out. Even the big Tom. See, there she goes again. Why do they do that? They're so heavy that they've taken down that chicken wire over there. Yeah, heritage breed turkeys, they've been a bit of a challenge. We're still trying to decide if it's something we want to continue with. If we can get them to raise their own young, then I think it will be worth it, but we'll see. The challenge has been keeping them in. I haven't had any issues with predators, but these are my little Isa Brown hens here. I really like these ones. They have been laying like twice a day, and sometimes the eggs they lay are huge, you guys. They've been laying ones that have double yolks. I ordered some Easter eggers for fun to add some more color to the eggs, but I kind of wish I went ahead and ordered 10 of the Isa Browns instead. If you see here, the chicken house, you see this here. When they land here, their little, what do you call her, little talons? Their little toesies go right through, and they've never ever had any injuries of that kind. But we don't lock up our coop at night, and we still have never had anything get in. Also, when Nathan built this coop here, he dug a ditch around and half buried cinder blocks. And nothing can dig in and get in the coop that way. So far, between these reflectors, doing the concrete around chicken wire, and everybody's been safe in the run and also in the coop, which is a relief because it's so heartbreaking. So much time, effort, money into your flock to have a predator just come and massacre them through the night. It just can be a real nightmare. All right, I don't know if you can see, but I went ahead and went all the way around on either side, all the way down. Kind of same flickering. Now, you probably don't need to put up as many as I do. I got a little bit overboard. My husband comes out here and he's like, "You think you have enough reflective tape?" I'm like, nope. But it's important to refresh it every 6 months, because eventually the reflectiveness does fade away. If you see this one here, it's been up for a while. I don't know if it really shows up, but it is not as reflective as this fresh stuff. Plus, eventually, you know, they do kind of fall down. I made the mistake once of not freshening it up, and I did have a close call. I think it was a kestrel. Interesting thing about the turkeys, is something I do really like about them, is if there is, I have a leaf in my hair. If there is some sort of bird of prey, predator flying above, they will notify the flock, and the chickens hear it, and they will run to safety. It's another nice thing about having netting just right here, is they'll all run over here and jump in and get into the coop. But this particular time, the turkeys did make their warning, and there was a kestrel right up here perched, and it dive bombed down. Luckily missed the chicken, probably because it was aware and was running back to the coop. And I looked out the window, and there was this big bird here. I was like, what is that? That does not look like one of my chickens. And sure enough, I saw it flew away, but that was because I didn't freshen up my reflective tape, so it's important to do that. Now, I have had some people warn me about possums harming their flock. I don't know, has anybody had issues with that? Because I've only had issues with possums getting in my house or getting into the cat food. Generally, possums are scavengers. I can't imagine them trying to get into your coop at night. I could see them maybe going after a chicken that was out at night, wandering around and not in the coop. but actually actively going after your flock in the run or in the coop, I just don't know. So we never had any issues with possums. I had one issue with a raccoon because I had some young turkeys. And when our turkeys are very young, we first put them in with the chickens until they're large enough to go in with the big ones. So we had some blue slate turkeys, which another heritage breed. We were not particularly happy with the blue slate. They were very sweet, but they didn't have very good survival instincts. We won't be going with those again because we have so many predators. I really like. Trigo is desperately trying to come in here with me. Do you want to come in here with me? Trigo, come here. Trigo, come here. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Come here. You want to come in? Cats, what is it with them, you know? You open up the door and then they don't want to come in, and then you finally close it and then they want to come in again. They just can't really make up their mind, huh? But because we have so many predators out here, I just prefer chickens and turkeys that have more of a survival instinct. So I had some blue slates. They were still young, and I had to keep coming out here each night to make sure they were getting into the coop. They just weren't getting the memo. So I had to come out here each evening and make sure that they were getting in the coop each night. One night I forgot to come out here, and sadly they had nested right here in the corner. Now a raccoon can't get in here, but raccoons do have hands. So they were nested right here. Another thing about raccoons is they like to eat the head first. So they go for the head. So when they were here, the raccoon was able to grab them with his hands, and it was pretty brutal. Raccoons are quite vicious. One thing I would say about them is they do eat all the meat. Morrow, no, they are not wasteful. So he was able to get, I think that was 2 of them that we lost here, through the bars. There was not much left but just a bare bone carcass. I don't know, did he eat the feathers? It was very disturbing, to be honest. And so even though the raccoons can't get in here physically, they have hands. So if I do have a chicken that's not smart enough to go in the coop at night, or a turkey, they can grab through the bars. They're kind of creepy. Raccoons scare me. There goes another turkey, I swear. I don't know what is with the turkeys today. Oh, I see. Some of the hens aren't getting along. They seem agitated. The darn pecking order, you know? What makes them just decide to not like a hen? I don't know. That's why they keep jumping up. One of the hens is picking on the other. Little brat. That feels good. I was able to go all the way around. What a relief. Every time I look out the window, I see how sparse it is out here, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get out here and get this done because the weather's cold. This is the time when those predators become desperate enough to try getting into the flock. I'm a little concerned about this hen that they keep picking on in here with the turkeys. This is something new. I'm out here every day. I don't know what makes them decide one day just randomly to not like one of the hens. But they're pecking at her enough to where I'm concerned about the top of her head. Might have to move her in with the chickens. I'm not sure. I'll keep an eye on her. That's why she keeps going on the fence. That's where she is again, over there. It's starting to rain. It's done just in time. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go in and try to stay dry. I hope that some of that information was informative for somebody out there. Owning a flock can be very rewarding, but it also can be very disheartening if you lose some of them to a predator, or if all of them to a predator. It can make you kind of want to give up. So, hopefully somebody out there can learn something from this video. I hope all my American friends had a lovely Thanksgiving. Take care, y'all, and we'll see you next time.